Hello. Anthony. Okay. So Marilyn, you're here, right? Okay. So we're streaming live. So Marilyn, you're here, right? Okay.
Yes,
So
I am.
we're streaming live.
This is crazy though.
I
Hang
think I
on.
have you in two places.
Okay. Either I can. Hang on. There. You can hear me now. No throat
Yep.
screeching. Just you can hear me.
Yeah. Actually, it was because I have you listed here on two
I am on
places.
two places
So.
because I don't have a camera on my computer.
Oh, okay.
So for the
Cool.
camera, here I am.
Eccola. Oh, so this is news. So how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. We had a rehearsal. We had a rehearsal last night, which I thought was just amazing. Ooh, J.
A
Barbara
rehearsal? You
Brown.
mean in Italy?
Yeah.
Hi,
Ciao. Oh my goodness.
I'm okay.
Okay. So,
Oh, so.
I was saying I had a
Take
rehearsal
that
last
light,
night.
girl.
What is the song? Halo?
What?
No, I said turn around and face the light, girl.
Oh, what the hell?
There you go.
There you go. Y'all work it.
Somebody said let there be light, I guess.
Yeah, I heard that.
Y'all working these extensions. So I said, go ahead.
Yeah, well.
Make you want to go out and buy something. I did. You know, I was on my way before I came. Actually, before I came to Italy, I was saving up to have more hair, and so I was also playing at a big church in the city. So I was working in Oakland, and I was also doing something else with this other church. Anyway, the long and short of it was that I have this dryness of scalp and whatever. They call it seborrheic dermatitis or something like that. Anyway, it just means that your scalp is always dry. And so here I was trying to grow my dread enough to do some dreads. And I had two sopranos, not to mention I was already working with a choir, four choirs in the church. Talk about wanting to just be going out in style. So I had this big gig with these two sopranos that were doing the Kathleen Battle and Jesse Norman spiritual thing, and they were singing all the hymns, all the spirituals, using all the spirituals from that. In the middle of that, I thought, I said, "Are you crazy? Are you crazy?" My scalp was like going crazy. I had exams. It said, and I promised. I said, "Lord, if you show me a skull cap, I'm gonna cut it all off." I said, I don't care if they think I'm Muslim. I said, I really don't care, but I can't handle this. Okay, so I was having one of those moments, and then I cut everything off. And I had a little skull cap that I was using, and I came to church. It was so funny. People like, I said, what did you do? And they said, you got the right kind of head, so they didn't really work to you. And I thought to myself, okay, did I care? No. Okay, the only thing I cared about is I could breathe, my scalp could breathe, and I would not have to be, you want to get your hands in it, and just kind of, no. And then the concert was a super success, but I tell you, it was just absolutely insane.
We're gonna send you a lace wig, so you can glue it down here, and you don't see where it came on, and you have all this hair.
Well, since that time, they've shown to me that I could, if I really was really feeling it, I could go to a barber, and they could add hair, and I could walk out with all the dreads I need.
I've seen that.
Okay. And when I sat and I saw the thing, how they kind of did the design on the guy's hair, and they added hair and so on and so forth. And I thought to myself, see, but you know what? It's still on my head, and my scalp would still be dry. And I'm thinking to myself, I'd be going absolutely crazy. They'd show up one day, and needless to say, these things are expensive because I knew somebody who did it. It's like, do all that work, and then you can't stand it, and then you just rip it all off. It's like, it's like,
exactly.
It's like, what did I do that for? But yeah. So anyway.
Oh dear.
So we're actually waiting to have other people that are supposed to chime in. I think.
How many folks are we waiting on?
Well, I actually invited some other folks. I invited Kathleen.
Oh.
I don't know if she'll be brave enough to join in, but hey. And I invited a lady from my hometown. I invited my other brother, and one of my other brothers, and I think somebody else I did. But so we'll kind of see how it plays out. But I thought, this might either be the last or final, because everything is changing in September. September is such one of those things. But it's Undici. It's what is this? 9/11.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Today is 9/11.
Yeah. Today is 9/11.
God, it's been what?
What's the emergency?
It's been 20 years.
Years, yeah.
It's literally 20 years. Because the year after that, my mother got on a plane to come to Italy, and everybody was saying, "Are you crazy?"
Mm.
And she was saying, "Why aren't you scared?" She said, "No." My mother was just one of those. She said, "Get on the plane, say your prayers." And if she's anything like John and I are, in 2 minutes, you are out. You just lit. I don't know if it's a family thing or what, or we enter immediately in the presence of peace. But they were saying when I brought the choir to the United States, they said, so we did it like 3 times. They said, so the people that had done it before, they were saying, "Oh gosh, and there's no way," because one of them was a nurse. She says, "No way in the world I can handle 8 to 10 hours on a plane trying to get to the States." And so she came with Valium and everything else. So while they were kind of getting it all hooked up, we were already out. Okay, we were already on snooze. So anyway, so how is so where were you on 9/11?
Which you are you speaking to?
Yeah.
Whichever, whoever wants to go first.
Let's see. I had just landed back in London from Sydney, Australia, and I was staying with a friend in London, and I wasn't there not 24 hours. And the funny thing was, I got up early because I was still on Sydney time. So it must have been, I think I must have got up at 8:15 or something. And I have a habit, I still do it. I turn on the TV, but I turn off the sound.
Uh-huh.
That makes sense. So I just have the picture, yeah. And I think I must have turned on, I think the first plane had hit. So it must have been slightly before 9. And I was standing there and I was getting ready and I saw the screen and the towers going up, but I thought it was a movie. So I wasn't really focusing in on it. So I was fluffing around for another few minutes. And then I thought, well, hang on. The picture hasn't changed. It's still the same picture. That's weird. So as I went to reach for the control to turn on the mute, because I saw where it said live.
Yes.
And that's why it was that I went. So as I turned on the sound, I saw the second plane hit.
Wow.
And I was just like, what the hell just happened? And this is, and I kid you not, 10 minutes later, my phone started ringing and just popping off in messages, and everyone kept asking, where are you? And the thing was, I couldn't contact home at that point because the phone lines were jammed. And so people were, because I had a habit, sometimes I get on the plane and fly back to New York without letting people know we're in New York. So at this point, no one had an idea. People thought I was still in Australia or I was in Hong Kong or I was back. They didn't have any idea. And then my sister, leave it for family, because I always told my sister that if she emails any one of my friends, it'll start a chain reaction and somebody would know where I am. So she emailed, I think she just went to all the lists because I had, I sent people, I think I had 50 people on the list at this time. So she just replied to all and said, introduced herself and said, okay, I'm looking for my sister. I have no idea where she is. And this is why people kept calling me, because they were like, call home, do something, but call home because your sister's just like, well, where are you? Da, da, da. But I still remember to this day exactly where I was because I was staying at my friend's house in London, and it was just a bizarre day.
Oh, wow.
It really
was a
what
bizarre
you're saying echoes what happened with me. I was home in my apartment. Same thing. The sound was either low or off, and I was like, "What in the world am I seeing?" And then I saw it about live. And
so you were in France. You were in France.
I was in France. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it was like I saw live, white writing on a red rectangle.
Yeah.
And I was like, live? What? It took a while to register. Okay. And then it was just like, no, this is not real. This is not happening.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was one of those, publicity stunts, for a movie or something. Yeah. And then the next thing I said out of my mouth, which was very strange, and people said to me, you didn't say that. And I said, yeah. When I realized what was happening, I was like, well, you can't keep messing with people and not thinking that it's going to come home.
Yeah.
Okay.
Somewhere along the line, they say chickens come home to roost.
Well, yeah. Well, that's the big Malcolm chime in. And because relative to the United States, as I recall, the only other thing that really happened from a foreign power was Pearl Harbor.
Yeah,
and Pearl Harbor was
that close
the
to home. Yes.
Yeah, it was the one that was there, and that was quote unquote foreign terrorism. We've long since understood all kinds of other terrorism, domestic terrorism that had gone on for centuries. But that was a start. But I was in jail. I was in
Excuse
jail
me?
So which side of the
jail.
Gate were you?
Really?
Actually, to tell you the truth, I was in jail.
Okay.
I was with this friend of mine, he was a pastor. He'd started a kind of a fellowship
I
called
thought
Youth
you were going to
Bible
say he started a
Program.
riot.
No, 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 no. He started a fellowship, and so we had gotten permission to put together a gospel choir in the prison.
Okay.
And so we were actually, I can't remember what was it wasn't the first week, but we had gone through the first level where we had 25 guys come in, and then they had a couple of the mafia bosses that came in to check out the situation. Um, and so we kind of hovered around 25 guys in this choir. It was a big choir, and we had like 4-part harmony. It was just amazing.
You were in Italy, though.
And this was in Italy. Yeah, it was in Italy, and I had come to work with them on I think it was a Friday too. I'd come to work with them, and I had just, because that you can't take your cell phone in, you can't take this in, you get pretty much you got the clothes on your back and maybe a notebook or something like that. And so I had just done putting my things in the locker, and one of the guards said, "Mr. Brown, come and see what's going on in your country." And I was there. It was 3 o'clock precisely, and I was watching it, and I thought, oh, this is a film, because it's so much like one of those situations. And then when I saw the other plane hit, I was like, no, this is not a film. This is real. Okay. And I can't remember if I think I went. I think I went ahead with the class, and then after that, but I don't remember. So it may have been that I didn't, and I went home, but I don't think so. My mother's kind of. I hear my mother saying, "You finish your job, and then you do whatever you want, whatever's necessary." you know.
Hmm.
And yeah, that was where I was, and that was where I kind of was my point of reference for that day. It was just absolutely amazing. And then after that, we were bombarded, for like every 5 minutes. Um, and I don't know if where you were in Germany, but it was like being in the States. It was like every 5 minutes there was news, a news alert, something that was happening, some correspondent, and the other side of it was that right after that, I guess was this was September, and so after that, you go into December, and in Italy for December is usually when all of the the Black people, African Americans, what do you want to call them, come to Italy to do the concert tours, the gospel choirs. Well,
Yeah, right.
folk were
Zero.
not coming. Okay,
Hmm.
they weren't coming, and then all of a sudden, people discovered that there were Black people in it in England. So they started. Well, they're Black and they're singing gospel. It just started importing the English element people. And so what the other thing that happened was the few people that did come over, some didn't last because they were having trauma based on stuff that was going on. And I remember them calling me up. I was supposed to pretend I was from Detroit in one group, and the other, I was supposed to pretend I was from on the New York tour with these people, because people, they just couldn't hang. They couldn't hang. It was like, no, they really, it was just a traumatic thing. And this one woman from New York, she said, I was in the Twin Towers, and she gave her testimony. It was like, you know, it was like something that was absolutely unbelievable. And so so it was an amazing time, but it really changed a lot of the 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 way that people do business and things happen. It's kind of like COVID in the sense that a lot of the things that people are used to doing, they weren't doing anymore. Because here, I don't know what it's like in Germany or here, but this is September again, and people are trying to organize for other stuff, and the Americans just are not here. They aren't here at all, and a lot of the students. So you're looking. We're in Florence, and Florence is used to having 25,000 American students, which is a lot of mouths to feed, a lot of apartments to live in, and the list just keeps going on and on and on. And what was happening was that people weren't doing it anymore. They weren't coming, and it's almost like with the whole COVID-19 thing. A lot of the students, the moment they heard about COVID, I'm out. At one school, the lady said, the kids pass, go. They heard about it, pass, go, straight to the airport, get on a plane, home, call the school and said, you can send my stuff to me, to my U.S. address. So it's like, I'm out, completely out. And so there were a lot of kids, and some of them decided that they're gonna, kind of stay in China and troop it out. But the schools are like, not here. It's like, we don't want that responsibility. Okay, so you're on your own if you got an apartment and so on and so forth. But that's your personal kind of thing. And so 25,000 people, a lot of people. There's a lot of people and a lot of money. Okay, so the only other time that we actually had to deal with that was when they went from the lira to the euro. Mm-hmm. And when they went from the lira to the euro, the Americans had a hiccup for a minute. And they said, they had a hiccup. They said, what? It's like, I can't believe it. What I was paying before is now double. I'm paying double that. Okay, and Americans, the way we were doing before 2000 and what's it 4 or something, we would travel with swagger. Okay, flip out the card. It's like I'll tell you, since I'm truly an American. Okay, give me one of those and one of those and one of those. I want two of the same ones, And so, you're just trafficking in stuff. And I remember taking wine, little bottles of wine that I thought were cute, okay, because they were lighter weight. And my brother did it. He had like 40.
40?
40 little bottles.
40.
Wow.
He sent them UPS or whatever it was that there. And, everybody loved him because, he had been on a tour and so on and so forth. So I was bringing stuff, back and forth. And then the euro hit. It's like,
yeah, we felt it over here in France. It was 7 times the amount.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And people did not understand when they 15 cents. Yeah, but it's 7 times 15.
Right.
Okay, 15 cents in euro. It's like going, I don't want to have a cup of coffee that's going to cost me 14 francs. Okay. I'll go buy the bottle and take it home.
I think I was lucky in a way because I was just changing over because I still had pounds in my UK bank account.
Yeah, lucky you.
Because the whole time I was in Oz, I was on the pound. So I was living large because Southeast Asia was ridiculous. I think my accommodations were costing me like not even 2 pounds a day.
Wow.
Okay, I could eat a really good meal for about the same, maybe less, depending on, and if I wanted street food or something like that, was even less. It was like 50p or something. It was ridiculous. And I got a lot of bang for my money. I mean, I went all over. I don't even think the biggest amount I
Yeah.
paid was when I got sick up in Chiang Mai
Hmm.
and I had to pay the hospital bill. Now they handed me the hospital bill and it said 14,500, and my brain kind of went, "What?" And then I realized it was bot and I was getting 3 to 1. I was like, "Oh, okay." So it was about 100 quid. It's about
Oh
100.
no. Seriously?
And I
And you could,
kind of went for a second. I was like, "Oh God, I'm gonna have to use my insurance." I never had to use my insurance because I could pay for it in cash.
right, right, right.
You know,
Nice.
But see,
and
that was almost like the first time I went. Um, when I went to listen, okay, it's kind of probably almost shameful, to say, but I've never really been to London uh, ever. I've been here 25 years, and the closest I've been is the airport, and that's really not London. Um, and part of that has to do with the first time. This was actually before the switch over, and I was in the airport, and I saw this lovely glasses. They was like titanium, and they were like really just cool, just totally cool. And it was like everything was on one piece, and the lenses really hang, and so on and so
mm,
forth. And I looked at it, it was like 75. I said, oh, I could do that because I was used to paying running to American Express and playing with play money because number one the lira was pink and red and stuff. It was like we come from green, so it's like. And then I went in and I wanted the glasses, and they said, "Oh, you want these? Yeah, okay, that's 70. Okay." I said, hey, and then I gave them something, and then they gave me back change. I was okay, okay, and I think I was so embarrassed that I didn't say I didn't want them. I could have just had the choice of saying I think I was so embarrassed
mm,
that I kept them as a memory. But let me tell you, and I thought I don't know how the Italians that were coming with the lira there was less, and they were in the UK all the time. I said, "Y'all can have it. Yeah, I need a reason. I need a reason." And my students were saying, "This is why you should go, and you'd be great." I said, and I couldn't. And I still have that memory of the lady putting the change in my hand. I don't think I ever, I don't think I ever got over that. It was like, and so I was like, okay, I'm okay with traveling in Europe, but you know what? All this thing of changing the monies and stuff. No, see, I don't. I want to understand the changes before I show up in that country because that could be killer. Okay.
yeah, you really need to be. I think since I've done it for so long, I can
Mhm.
calculate the exchange rate in my head.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter whether I
No.
go from
No.
yen to baht to Singapore
Mm.
real or whatever. All of a sudden, I'm like calculating what is it? What is one is and just in my head. So and the second thing I do is I haven't for a while. Don't really use cash, except I carry very little cash. But I
Hmm.
find using the card, whether it's a debit card or a credit card, you kind of forego the
Calculating the
charge, the
exchange.
extra. No, the exchange rate
Oh,
is usually better, but also, you have to pay a fee to exchange. And normally, depending on your bank, you might not get hit with the fee.
ah,
Okay. And that's a lot because the fee could be anywhere from 1.5 to 3.
Yeah.
So if you're changing 100 and then, the exchange rate and then their service charge, you're just going, hang on, I just given you extra money where I don't have to worry about that if I
yeah.
do it with my card. you
Well,
know?
they cheat on the bus over here because I'm on the border of Switzerland and France, and
Okay.
there's a bus that
Right.
goes on both sides. And the machine says, "Do you want to pay in Swiss francs or in
Right.
euro?" And I'm like, "Hey, I'm in France. I'll pay in euro." They tax me because they
Whoa.
put it through the Swiss thing. And if you're on the Swiss side, they tax you as well. I'm like going,
Ooh.
so why do you ask us if we want to pay in euro or in Swiss francs? Because I use my French card thinking it's euro and euro. Then I have a little pay by card, which is in francs.
Right.
Okay? Don't work that way. They get their pound of flesh on both sides.
Yeah. See, yeah. That's, yep. The only time I run into that is if I do North Germany and I go over the border like Denmark, Norway,
Hmm.
Sweden. What happens is they give you a choice, but I'm like, doesn't matter. Those countries are expensive anyway. So I'm just going to use my card. I'm not going to even worry about it. And, sometimes they say, well, we'll take the euros, we'll exchange euros. I'm like, nah, that doesn't work because I'll pay out more than with the Danish krona or something. So I'm like, no, you take credit card or debit card. Yes. Okay, fine. And then I just leave it at that. And I
Done.
automatically on my phone, I get the exchange rate and how much it costs. So I know exactly how much was taken off of my account.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. In fact, well, I think it's what one of the things that my tendency is to do is to try and get a handle on. Oh, there's Christine.
Hi, Christine.
Okay,
Hi.
is to try and get a handle on or an idea before I do it. Because let's see, where have I been? I've been to, I guess it's Amsterdam. I've
Mm,
been to Amsterdam. I've been to Budapest,
mm-hmm.
and I've been to what's the other place? Someplace in Poland. Anyway, places that weren't really on the, and then I was in Finland, and so on and so forth. But yeah, it's just quite interesting. So, Christine, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here for a few minutes, at least half an hour.
Oh, okay. So, here as in the States or in?
I'm still in the States,
Okay.
and all going according to plan. I leave on Monday and return on Tuesday
Mm.
morning, and I'm in quarantine for 10 days in
Oh,
Geneva.
ouch.
Well,
So-
they skipped
I
off
knew that
4.
was coming. That was my idea. Like, okay, how are you going to avoid the quarantine? Because somebody's going to hit you.
Yeah.
So you're getting it coming back. Because I thought if she could do it and not have any problem, maybe I'll fly home. Glad that you told me.
Yeah.
What do people do when they only have 2 weeks of vacation, right? Like 4 days to see the country and 10 days in quarantine.
So how come it's 10 days and not 14?
Christine?
I think her phone is, if it's, there she is.
Yeah, she's short.
So,
Yep.
yeah. So Christine, are you there?
I got kicked off. My internet here is not too good. I missed the last thing you said about quarantine.
Okay, so it's 10 days instead of 14.
Yeah, it is. It's 10.
What
It's 10
happened?
days. Yeah,
Is
I
that
don't know.
Is
Yeah,
that
that's
because it's
Switzerland.
Switzerland?
Yeah, I mean that's at least what it says officially.
Okay.
I was reading. Yeah.
Yeah, because here it's like 14.
Yep, here too. 14.
I don't know.
A friend
I've
of mine
heard
went to
both,
Martinique,
but-
and they were supposed to be quarantined for 14 days straight from the airport to a hotel.
Right.
She landed, go home, go to your people's place, and so she's self-quarantined.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of offering.
I know.
But this really isn't funny, but it is funny at the same time. Where somebody was working, he's, when people are always saying, how having a job and doing blah 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 blah, and then all of a sudden God shuts your mouth. Okay, so in the middle of the pandemic, when thousands of people couldn't work, what happened to him? He got a job offer, and he was working with immigrants. And so part of what he does is all I guess it'd be the equivalent of some sort of naturalization or whatever. Anyway, the long and short of it is this is happening in the age of the pandemic. And he said this woman who's from an African country that I won't say, that it's absolutely insane. Anyway, the long and short of it was she went to the hospital, she tested positive, and they decided that they're going to keep her. Okay. She was saying, heck no. She escaped from the hospital, and so she was in immigrant housing and so on and so forth. She escaped from the hospital, okay, and went home. Okay, so in this place where she's staying, she has family. There's her husband and her children and other families and so on and so forth. And it was like, I can't believe she did it. I can't, I mean, I've been in the hospital in Italy too. Being in the hospital in Italy is it's like BYOB.
Yeah.
Okay. Bring your own. It's like, you bring your own this, you bring your own that, and so on and so forth. And so the thing is like, and I was thinking now, yes, being in the hospital, they wake you up in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, and they're like the vampires, and they're taking blood because you're not just gonna lie around up in there. Okay,
get up.
That's it. Get up, walk around. Whatever.
Not a hotel or a rest home.
It's like you feel like you're in an oven because it's so hot, which is why people when you're in a hospital, it's like an incubator because whatever they got,
you got it.
It's like you got it. Okay, so I'm thinking, how did she escape? How did she escape? And I was thinking, well, maybe pretending that you had visitors and you take a little walk out the hall and then you make a mad dash for the door. But it's just insane. So unless she walked all the way home, which I doubted, which means she took a bus, she exposed all the people on the bus to it. Wow. Okay. Then any place she was walking, she exposed them to it. Then she went back home and infected or reinfected everybody else. So everybody else that was in that house went from that house and infected everybody else. And I thought, wow.
Are you talking about Trumpism or are you talking about the virus?
Hey! He just pops up. Having some Trump in the mix.
Good afternoon, Jamra.
If it's done, it's Trump, right?
Buonasera tutti. Buonasera tutti.
Buonasera.
Amen.
That's insane. Okay, so the woman, she didn't want to be in quarantine. And, I can probably get it, okay, but she was in enforced quarantine, okay? And she escaped from there. She escaped from the hospital and went back to the place. She was in immigrant housing, and she escaped because she didn't want to be in quarantine, and she went back home. So Eusebio was scheduled to be. Wait a minute. Let me get this out. Okay.
A hospital. A lady from Africa in Italy.
She went to the hospital. They tested her. She tested positive, and they said, "Honey, you're in quarantine." And they had her in quarantine at the hospital, and she escaped.
Yeah, but I thought you said base. I thought you said something about a base.
No.
Okay, so she wasn't on a base. Okay, all right. Go ahead. Continue.
No. She was in immigrant housing. So what they do here in Florence is there's no base. They haven't gotten to that. That's southern Italy.
No.
They have it's how can I say it, embrollo? They have apartments all over where people.
Yeah, I know. I used to live in there, one in Settignano.
Okay, so they have people that don't have anybody in that apartment, so they make business. Okay, so they fill them up with immigrants, and they get a certain amount ahead of the person that's anyway. The long and short of it, girlfriend went back home, and so like I said, on the bus she infected everybody that was there. Okay, so so much for tracing and all the other stuff. I tell you.
Here's what it is.
So Nehemiah, tell me, I'm curious about the street being named for your father.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so as best as I could understand, the city of Charlottesville is doing some, how can I say it, some rethinking. I'm trying to be polite. Okay, they're doing some rethinking of procedures and things that have gone on in the past. Okay, so in 2017 was when that major march that kind of where the stuff hit the fan with the alt-right and the people that were opposed to it, and the alt-right pretty much took over the city, and kind of did whatever they want, and it was kind of like egg on the face of Charlottesville and egg on the face of the university, because they walked from downtown all the way to the university, which is a lot of territory, unbridled, with torches in hand and so on and so forth. And then they showed up on the UVA campus, which is not easy to do.
No. You got that reversed. You got it reversed. Turn it around. They started up on the university campus and came downtown.
Okay.
They had the tiki torches out at night coming across UVA campus, coming down the lawn of the UVA campus.
Okay, you have to those of us that understand Mr. Jefferson's University. Okay, anything, it's the lawn or the rotunda or those places like that is like sacred ground. Okay, if there were 15 Black people doing that, they would have offed you in a minute. Okay, relative to a group. Okay, those of us that grew up went to the university in the early 70s. Remember at the time of Vietnam that the Charlottesville government and the university government had Mayflower trucks that they bought in. They opened the door and they had policemen, and they were back to back down the yellow line in the middle of the street because they were not going to have anything going on their watch. And they had dogs, and so I was there as a student, and we ran because they pulled out the dogs and was like, nada. So this is the precedent. So in the long and short of it was that Brenda, which sad that she may not be with us. Anyway, Brenda was already at the church that sits in front of the rotunda. And they were having a prayer meeting. They could not get out of the church. They had the risk of bodily harm. They could not get out of the church, and they decided to stay in the church. So all of this, put Charlottesville, that always wanted to be on the map. It became an international city because even in Italian, they were pronouncing it correctly. And our sister city, 15 minutes from here, had been there forever and a day. Nobody, and I only discovered that after having been here 5 to 10 years. So, but anyway, the long and short of it became well known all over the world. So they were having some rethinking about their past, and they had voted a new council in, and so they were. What tends to happen is people. I don't know, Christine, you could probably tell me if the same thing was going on in North Carolina, where they're rethinking their past, and they're trying to do the right thing. And so pretty much what they wanted to do was they wanted to honor some of the people that were in the city. And my brother Ralph had proposed that they name one of the streets C.H. Brown Boulevard or Way, which in the article, it never really understood. I understood if it was going to be a boulevard or a way. And it was part of the street that intersects where the church is. The church is here. There is a street that runs that way. The church that runs, vertically is 12th Street, and Rosser is the intersecting street. And they were going to change that to C.H. Brown Way. And it's a big deal. It's a really big deal. So, the fight was about taking down the R.E. Lee statue that was in R.E. Lee Park, which was the effect of urban removal, because they had a Stonewall Jackson, they have a Stonewall Jackson monument, and then they had this R.E. Lee monument, and the people were saying it's got to go. And the alt-right chose Charlottesville as a jumping off point for what they wanted to do, their message that they wanted to give the country. And there you have it. And so now, they want to change another street. They want to call it Black Lives Matter or something. I can't remember what they want to call it. But practically in the chart of the city, it's got to be named for somebody. It can't just be a conceptual kind of thing. So that was how you have it. But to me, it's a big deal.
And it should be.
It's
a huge deal. On the street that's going to take off?
Say what?
There's a statue on the street that's going to be renamed that they're going to take down?
No. See, the statues are in the center of the city. They're downtown, and we're like up from downtown from there. The thing is that my father was a building contractor and a pastor, and a community leader, and so on and so forth. It's interesting that they would honor him. My brother has been promoting this for a long time, and you suggested it for a long time that with all the other people that were doing stuff at the time, that they hadn't honored him, because his story was that when he was a building contractor, he had started with building A-frame, these A-frame houses, which when you see them, they look like A's.
Like A's, yeah.
And the other side of it is that it was a boom in the 50s going into the 60s, because you could build them economically. And so my father, when he started building these houses, there was another company which bears the name of one of the leaders of the Confederacy. And the story is that they put a hit out on him. Jesus being the fence that he is around us, none of that amounted to anything. But he was like one of the first developers, Black developers in the area. And so pretty much it was a really big deal. And the reason I say that he probably would have been more famous, however, it was because he was a Pentecostal preacher. The Holy Rollers were in vogue at the time. So now everybody's rolling. So it's like, so it's kind of like one of those deals. But it's a huge deal, absolutely. And my father, he was not interested in all of that. He was just trying to, put food on the table and serve his public. And that's a big deal, really big deal. So Christine, are you there?
I am. That's really cool, Nehemiah and John.
Yeah. So we were shocked. I saw it. We saw it yesterday. I was shocked.
It's
so
wonderful.
You only just found out about it by reading an article, or did someone in your family tell you?
Well, my brother Ralph used to be on the what do they call it? The Sister City Commission, because Charlottesville is the sister city of Poggiacaiano, which is 15 minutes from Florence. And
50,
so
what?
if I know him, 15 minutes from
50.
It's like 15, John. I think no, it's not 50.
No, I have been to Poggiacaiano on more than one occasion.
Anyway.
At some point, when it becomes possible and positive, we should do a big gospel extravaganza and a kind of educational moment, like a public moment. Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah, in fact,
sound like a winner to me.
What I wanted to do was to, let's see if I can pull it up.
While you're pulling that, the other thing that would go along with this, Christine, and the rest of you guys, is that to actually have a map and to have snapshots and pinpoints of all of the houses that he built. Because my father was building 2-bedroom houses for $8,000. Okay. Wow. Never ever to be heard or seen again anytime in this phase of life. And he did an honest day's work, and he always gave quality work. And if something was wrong, he corrected it. So the people respected him for that. They knew he was honest. They knew they were going to get value. And I'm talking about cinder block houses, not this partition fake stuff they throw up now. I'm talking about brick and block, poured foundation, solid walls, the whole 9 yards, No
plasterboard.
No.
Well, the other thing is, I want to see if I can run this. This is like 6 minutes. I think I can get it done here, if I'm not mistaken. And you can see, because we did this thing for his centennial birthday. Okay.
That was very nice.
That was nice.
Very nice. Beautiful.
Okay.
Did you write the song?
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
And in fact, I don't know if you noticed the thing that my father was working on. My brother John had created a cable radio station in Charlottesville. It's actually one of the first cable stations in the U.S. Of its kind, and it was really one of the first cable gospel stations. And so he was young and foolish, young, foolish, and fruitful at the same time. He was.
Well, God uses the ordinary to enlighten.
Well, the thing is that he had this flair for ham radio stations, and he had decided that we didn't have enough gospel in our area, and he started from a little gadget and built it into about the size of a bathroom and a radio station. And in the United States, at least at the time, legally you could boost and get your signal out. And so he was he just boosted, and they heard him in Canada, and they also heard him at the FCC. And so they came and slapped his wrist, and the rest is kind of history.
Yeah.
They heard him all the way in Canada.
Hey.
Look,
I took the scripture literally, and I went forth. Okay.
Spread the word.
And so, as a result of that, we had 24-hour gospel. We got people that never knew anything about radio. Number one, that got trained and learned. We did commercials and all kinds of stuff. Within that, we had also our Sunday morning church service broadcast live. We did remote stuff. It was just insane. And God blessed it. And so they were deciding.
Don't leave out the entertainment division.
Which one? Well,
the concert series. The concert series. The concert series.
I haven't gotten that one yet. Okay, so we boosted, and it became really a well-known thing. And he decided that we should have a concert series. And the concert series included Walter Edwin Hawkins, Danny Bell Hall from Take Me Back, and Andre Crouch, and was it Shirley Caesar?
Caesar, Mighty Clouds of Joy. I can't even remember half the people now.
So at the time, we met all of our gospel idols, and we met them right at our door. And there's nothing like walking in, because Andre came and he looked at the station and he said, okay. And he said, and at the time, I think we had done a CD or something, an LP. And so the interesting thing was, my mother was just the same as she always was. She used to sell chicken dinners, and a whole lot of people came to the Lord as a result of it. And so they came and they had fried chicken and collard greens and all of those right there in the church. And you could see, I don't know if you noticed in the video, there were pictures of the church and the houses that my father had built. And most of the houses that you saw were houses that he had built. It's just really quite phenomenal. The other side to that was, as a result of that, that my father had a vision for the ministry. He felt that everybody should know who the Lord was, and that it was an opportunity for young preachers, people that wanted to be in ministry, to get an opportunity. And so we went out everywhere, and the very first bus ministry we had in Charlottesville was the bus ministry from the University of Virginia to our church. University of Virginia to our church, and so the long and short of it is that yeah, I want to check it. Okay, start screen. Okay, there you go. Okay, so it's okay. So pretty much what happened was the beginning of the founding of. There's a gospel choir at the University of Virginia called the Black Voices that was founded during that time, and that was like 72, 73, and it still exists today. Which is, we're talking, oh, 70, do the math, okay. And so it was the inspiration from that one person. It's the power of one, the things that can happen with one person. And so for us, building houses, but our whole thing is allowing God to use your gifts and to do wherever you go. Amen. Mhm. Absolutely. Which, yeah. Yep. Yeah. In fact, and so it's an encouragement for the ideas. So with Christine's not with us anymore, but the way the Geneva Gospel Choir got off the ground was that God had this vision of gave us this vision about having a gospel choir in Geneva. And the interesting thing was the last thing I did was the Geneva Gospel Choir. How can I say it? A workshop. That was the last thing we did. And the interesting was the last time we did part of it in France and part of it in Switzerland. And God just did, he just did the the details and what have you. And kind of the same thing. The way I got to know Marilyn was through the Geneva Gospel Choir, and the way I got to know Barbara was through Christ the King and the gospel workshops that are there. And it's just there's a song that Danny Bell Hall says that God uses ordinary people, and says that little becomes much when you place it in the master's hand. I like what Marilyn was saying when she talked about doing stand-up, and she was talking about how she just goes out. I mean, it's just it's the strangest thing, because Steve Harvey talks about the same thing. We all think about the preacher in the pulpit. We have it down. You get an unction of the Holy Spirit, and he just going out. But the guy that's doing stand-up comedy in a name, same thing. Same thing. Doctors doing the same thing. and and trust me, after having been on Ryanair, okay, Barbara goes to Ryanair, and it's like Holy Spirit. It's like and even from what we were doing in Germany, how that God just opened the door, and we did a seminar for Lufthansa, which it was like, and so you got 100 Germans in a room, and you're trying to do an impromptu choir. It's like a miracle. So and so yep. And it was off the chain. Yeah, it was off the chain. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Yep. Frankfurt. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But go ahead. No, the interesting thing is that when you realize the possibilities of the things that God he just kicks the doors down. And the positive thing you understand is you always got haters. They're gonna be there all the time, but they're there to help you go ahead. Okay. It's like, okay, you're there, whatever, okay. Jesus had a hater and his disciples, so hey. So who do we think? It was like, hey, and what did he say when it was time for him to do his thing? Whatever, you go do it. Okay, go ahead and do it. And the thing is that the only thing that the haters do is they actually make you better. They make you better than because the enemy would like to take you down and say, no, Marilyn, you can't do that. It's like, no, okay, he's just refining. He's just refining and retuning the situation to make it what he would have to do. And trust me, if somebody had said to me, see, I'm kind of like Barbara. I knew somewhere along the line that I would not be in the U.S. forever. Okay, I knew it. Okay, I knew that there was something else, and I had already said I wanted to see a lot of my country, and I did see a lot of it. Okay, a lot. And when the thing came down, um, it was like, okay, you need to, when I thought I was having the great mind that, yeah, you're going to work in the global market, you speak another language. Okay, got it. Okay, and then I started to go with the other language thing. And that would have been my third language. And so somewhere underneath all of my Italian, there was 14 years of French. And I'm expecting it to come back. I'm expecting it to come back because the reason why I excelled so much in the language in Italian was because of my French. And it was all of a sudden it was just like there. And psychologically, I say that the reason probably why it didn't take was because at least the Italians knew what the Bible name for Nehemiah was Nehemiah, and the French they called me Hector, and I was thinking, heck no, that ain't never. We had already hooked it up. Hector, the trash can collector. It's like no, 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 no. Yeah, for real. Yeah, but okay. Yeah, but so en français, Jean, no? Jean. And then in Italian is Giovanni. Giovanni. Ah, Johannes. See. So it's like, hey. But somewhere along the line, they didn't connect it with the French. And so I think I was rebelling ever since, until I got to the university and they called me Senior Brown, not Senior Brown, Monsieur Brown. And I thought I could take it for a minute. But yes, it was underneath all of that. But it's so much to do with it. And I had one of those crushing moments where, when I was learning the language in the US, and where they go around and they want to change everybody's name into something. It was like, no, don't. It's like, don't do it. Don't do it. So I'm sitting in the room, and the teacher, who was American, and usually they don't allow, at least at my school, they don't allow Americans to teach the foreign language. And so I think because she was doing a conversation class, and so she was going around the room and she was saying, mi chiamo Jack. She said, oh, sì. Then they give you some name that was equivalent of Jack in Italian. And so they were getting to my table, and I was like, okay, I wasn't a spring chicken. I wasn't 21 when I started the language. So it's like, okay, I have lived through them butchering Nehemiah, from Jeremiah to Nehi to all of the things in the middle. I had been called all of that, and no nicknames, please. Okay. So I lived through all of that. So going to that, okay, and then I realized that it's the same thing of people calling you the N-word. It's not my name. That's not who I am, and I don't even respond. So it was like water off a duck's back. So here I am sitting in this room, and there were at least 20, 30 people, and they were going around the room. And I'd learned enough Italian to tell her, no, io preferisco, I prefer Nehemiah. Okay, then she said, oh no. It's like you got to. It's like, okay, don't go there. Do not go there. Okay, so she came up with it, and I said, and no, I raised my voice and said, Io preferisco, me and my, that was the last time I saw her face, because I was thinking, not doing this, not going there at all. And I think I had another instructor who was American, but she had spent a lot of time in Italy, from in the Toscana area. But it was like, no, it's like because for me, when I thought of the language, I thought, okay, what happens on the American soil with the idea of the melting pot, and you lose your culture and you become this thing called America. It's like, for me, um, the richness of the cultures that we bring to the table is strong enough that there should be respect for the cultures of whatever language you're learning, and it's enough not to, okay, let's not play the game, that, okay, whip it down, whatever. And I was thinking, okay, I don't want to take this language so that I can go to an Italian restaurant and order from an Italian menu. I thought the Italians have given more to the culture than that, which meant that it did, as it did to with all the other things that were going on. So yeah, that was where I was, but I was coming apart. It's like, no, no, not proprio no, proprio no. Christine, are you back? Okay, so you were saying was, oh, okay. So Barbara, were you about to say something? A native speaker, yeah. Yeah, uh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's also like being in the States, going and having pop in Massachusetts and having a soda in the South, or just I remember the first time I was in Kansas. I said, all respect to Dorothy from the Wizard of Oz. I said, girlfriend, I said, I got, I feel your pain. I feel well, the point was is that, okay, I was in Kansas, and I was in one of those little towns in Kansas where there was silos, period. Okay. And so the story of the Wizard of Oz is that she's a young child, and all the people around her, there are no children. She just had Toto as her dog, and everybody else was an adult, and she had to deal with growing up with that, and there was nothing else going on. And I thought, wow, okay. Then I really could understand when she said somewhere over the rainbow, way up high. Okay, it was like, yeah, I could, I could feel what she was saying. But I think that the beauty of the United States is our diversity, and then if we try and kill that, it's just like it's a dead it's a dead story. Adding all the inflections, all the other stuff. And I tell people, it's like we try and pretend that there's no dialect, but tell that okay, Massachusetts and the Midwest, and that you go to it's like there are dialects all over the place, and stuff that goes on. And I think it's just you learn to respect the differences and all of that, because it's a huge country. Tell me about it. Mm. Yeah, totally. Hmm. Yeah.
It's Florida. And I was like, well, you do know this. There's a few other states down there, okay? Not just Florida and not the beach, okay? So if you just walk, you have Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, they kind of look at me strange. And then you have the Midwest, which is a completely other different animal. So
Yeah.
most of the students here, when they do exchange programs, they don't end up on the coast. They usually end up smack in the middle of the country in cities I've never heard of unless they told me the state. And even then, I was like, I don't know anything about it. And then they say, well, it is in the US. You've never been. And I have to sit there and go, you do realize that from east to west, it's about 3,500 miles.
Exactly.
Okay. And
Exactly.
there's 50 states. That's a lot of territory.
Yeah.
And no, I don't know. I know every state in the union. I
Or or the interesting thing that I got here, and people that really had lived in the culture, and then this one young lady that was singing in the choir, and she studied English in Texas, and then when she started speaking English with the Texas accent, I was like, it was like, okay, so but it's the same as when you come here and you find an American who wants to add the Tuscan accent, where you're aspirating the H's and the C's and all of that. So it's just funny and interesting. We kind of started this out with uh, talking about people where they were on 9/11. Christine, where were you when 9/11 was going down? Wow. Hmm. Yeah. That. Yeah. It's. Hmm, yeah. Hmm. From the expats. Yeah. 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 Interesting.
Is you have to remember, most of the expat, if they're military or particularly military, they're living off the base, and you had a lot of Americans that tend to congregate in the same area. So it's like being a target, yeah.
Hmm.
The only thing missing is like the flag over all the houses where you live to say where all the Americans are.
Yeah.
And so for me, not being part of that community stuff, I didn't really feel afraid or anything because
Yeah.
I blended in with the local population. Yeah. My neighbors knew I was American and anything else, and maybe the postman knew. but but other than that, and I remember churches where a lot of people, a lot of Americans frequent. They had security at the door.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Right. Well, kind of. Uh, since John and I, we knew the consul general. Who we knew several of the consul generals. And what happened 9/11? The first thing that came down was from the consulate. It's like all the American flags and all the stuff you carry on your person, and all get that stuff off of your luggage, and try to be as inconspicuous as possible, because then it becomes a target. And so they put everybody on like high alert, and if yeah. Yeah, yeah, it's like
Yeah, and then the Canadians were getting upset. If there were.
yeah, and so it's the other thing. It's like, well, we're not Americans. I said, aren't you from North America? That makes you an American. Okay, can we get that correction here? And so all the people in South America, oh, we're not Americans. Where are you from? Paraguay? That's called South America.
Well,
it's
it's South Americans I know who insist on that and are really
Yeah.
irritated when U.S. citizens
Try to make them Americans.
Well, South America is South America.
claim the term
it's the Americas, plural.
Yes.
But yeah, it's separated into two.
The South and Central, or the people from we won't get this deep, but some of the people from the Dominican Republic had said, we're just not, we're Spanish. It's like, okay, please, okay, so it's like it's just an interesting story relative to that. The other thing that's kind of happened in this time was Chadwick Boseman, who passed recently. It was a huge deal. The interesting thing that we have in that narrative is that he was so inspired. He was Denzel Washington was a mentor for him, and a little bit more than a mentor. He kind of helped finance his education and what have you. but to see the kinds of things that he did Jackie Robinson, and he did James Brown, and he did, I can't remember the other person, character that he done. The whole Black Panther thing, he was, put him with the Black Panther.
He did Thurgood Marshall too.
The interesting thing, Thurgood Marshall. The interesting thing was that even with Superman, when we look at the people that have played Superman, we have Christopher Reeve, and then the other guy who played Superman. But they were around a longer time. But we look at this situation with the Black Panther, and I put this up on my Facebook page, how the kids reacted to his death. It's just phenomenal. It was like the one of the first few times that you have a hero that is a hero of color, and you see the person die. It's like it's the time for the adults to put it in perspective that this person at all odds sacrificed to be what he his vision for himself was, to be an actor successful, and the fact that he didn't make excuses because he had cancer, and he had cancer for a long time, and nobody knew, they didn't put a banner up and said all of that, and how he was gracious about living through that, and he didn't seem to become, relative to all the people that talked about him, bitter because of that. He just went, he kept going. He didn't stop, and I thought that's amazing, and just the fact that Black Panther kind of took the world by storm, which means that in the entire planet, even in Saudi Arabia, they blocked up theaters and what have you, just so kids and people could go and see, and to have such a representation of someone like that. People don't tend to understand that when you sit and watch TV all day, or and it's like you, it's a big deal. It's really a big deal. And I think this was helpful in understanding the importance of having people that look like you, seeing people that look like you, and having them in real positions, real life positions. I think that's great.
Yeah, and not movie stars or sports figures, which is fine, but that's not everyone. That's a small percentage. Yeah, or singers and stuff. And I think, my childhood, what I could say, when I thought about what did I want to do, initially I wanted to be a journalist, and looking at we were talking about this before, integrity in journalism, and making sure that there's like a real story. And today's journalists, I'm like, that's not journalism. I don't know what it is, but it's not journalism. There's no integrity. Everyone's out to sensationalize everything, or to make money for it. And it's like, there's no integrity. No one stands behind it and does the investigative,
it's not facts.
Sure. Yeah, it's not facts.
That's the difficulty, the difficulty finding the true info, on which to then, analyze things more deeply. I just wanted to say what a gift that as a person he was such a good role model, as well as the many roles that he played, and especially the last one. So he is really a role model people can look up to, and it's quite a story. I wanted to just say goodbye to you all. I'm with my family and have some things that I need to do and some family time I need to have before leaving. So good to be with you, and see you soon.
Okay.
Safe travels.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bon voyage.
Appreciate
Bon
your
voyage, Christine.
prayers.
Ciao.
All goes smoothly, and that my C permit allows me, easy access in.
Amen. Okay.
All right.
Ciao, ciao.
Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Well, we have a few more minutes. I think this has been a good experience. I just wanted to have kind of a little bit of closure. I might have to do this another Friday on this, but I'm open because the interesting thing was this started out as a meeting with uh, uh, three music teachers. That was the whole thing, and it's gone like full circle with a lot of different things, and I think it's been really positive. I was kind of surprised, but the thing that I think is interesting, if we could digress just a little bit before we kind of close out here, the whole journalism thing, I think, is kind of the journalists are in an endangered species now, because what tends to happen now is the networks don't want journalism. Okay, so if a journalist is a journalist and he's willing, and they force them to take all the hits themselves, okay, then what you tend to do is, like, you force them into their own show, which means that if they say anything, it's not going to come back as a flash on the network. So you have the Joy Reads, and you have the what's his name, Cuomo. You have him. You have what's the what's her name, Paramore. What's her name?
Amanpour.
Amanpour. Yeah,
Christine Amanpour.
Christine Amanpour. Who's, I mean, they're excellent at what they do. But the thing is that what the networks have done is to phase them into their, which to me is, in a sense, it's probably a better thing for them, because then they have, quote unquote, their own possibility of defining themselves without the network doing it. Needless to say, if they're still on the network, that somebody's pulling chains. And so I put up something recently for PBS with Democracy Now!, because I was just kind of tired of all of the blinks that I would get from NBC, and I said, okay, so are we voting for Trump here? Okay, so everything is about the sitting president and all the other stuff that's going on, all the violence and all the other stuff, and then when I go to see the other networks or see some of the foreign reporting of what's going on in the United States, it's like, it just sounds like it's a different country, because the focus is completely different. And so I'm hearing that all of a sudden, it's not like everybody's burning, it's like Mississippi's burning, it's, and that's the story that you would have if you just listen to the usual ones. It's like, Mississippi's burning, and then the president is coming to kind of save the day or something like that. Which it's really outlandish, but it's a fight to get the truth. And so I was doing my usual listen to the following a Turkish series, and the guy who was running this newspaper said, "What I want is the truth. I want real journalists." Okay, I thought the irony of it was that it was in a Turkish series. Considering who's the president, I just don't want to get there. Okay, but I thought it was interesting to have it come across. It was almost like the actor that talks about DeMarcus. I can't remember the show he's on, where he talks about. He's the guy that did Dumb and Dumber. I can't remember his name. I guess. No, it's not Tom Hanks. So it wasn't Kerry. It was the other guy. Who his partner, who has this soliloquy where he talks about the United States and government and where it's at. And it's like, if you can go to YouTube and it's there. It's quite interesting that these things have come across, and they're it's you're secure that whoever allowed him to sit the POTUS. So anyway, I think what I would like to talk about, if we do it next time, is how do we get the truth out? We're approaching elections all over. We have elections here. In Italy, we have elections probably in France and in Germany, and it seems like it's that time of the year. And but the whole thing is, how do we get the truth out? And I kind of would like to go into that a little further, if we might, but maybe another Friday. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, right. Wow. Mm-hmm. Right. Well, yeah. What? Okay. This issue. The joy. The joy. The joy. He's a, he's supposed, and his name is the joy. And so it is so if you got somebody like him that puts the joy in, we're gonna get the pain and all the others, all the other and the confusion and no, 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 no. Unless it's close. Yeah, which to me, I think what I'm not interested in seeing, and I could say also I'm tired of seeing it, which makes you want to, there is a move up front to get a third party in. The point is that okay, so if you've got this whole thing, they're trying to not set a precedent, but the precedent has already been set. We're on the third time around. Okay, so if they hijack the election this time, okay, they need to just say we are not accepting it until they count every single ballot that's going. And as an American citizen, you have the right that your vote counts in the election, whether you're in the country or outside of the country. And what I'm tired of is the Democrats saying, "Oh well," it's like no, it's like we are done. We are done with that. And I have a feeling that if they do it again this time, a lot of people will be done with that party also. Yeah, we're done. Yeah, yeah. So as as I was saying, it's been lovely having all of you here, and hopefully we'll be able to continue this conversation next Friday. Thank you very much. Gotta go, John. Yeah. Wait. Ah, Capito. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He did. Yeah, it's true. It's like history repeating. Let- But but let me tell you. Okay, New York has no intention of canceling all that stuff that has been. Yeah, yeah, because so in the bunker. Now that in New York, with Epstein, if we might say, with it. So, well, we're not entirely convinced that one went that way because because all of a sudden nobody was in the room and it happened. It's like, wait a minute, okay. So it's like no. Anyway, love to everybody. Okay, okay. So yeah, Anquete. Okay, ciao, 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 ciao. Uh, Mhm. Mhm.